Guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Eghe and this is Fictional Haven. And so today we're going to be playing a little game. So I saw this on Fragile Luna's channel. She did this save one drop one but a book challenge. So basically this is a game that K-pop fans play for. It's mostly a game that I've seen like mostly for K-pop fans, that they play games where they try and save like one idol group and then drop one. But then I saw Fragile Luna do this for books and it looked fun, and so I decided to try it myself. And anyway, I'm just going to leave a link to Fragile Luna's channel below so you can also check it out, and let's just begin. I have this jar. I have this jar with me where I wrote the names of different books that I read this year and last year. And so basically, I'm just going to pick two of them and then decide which of them I'm going to save and which I'm going to drop. So the first two names I have is The Girls of Riyadh and Wings of Ebony. So the first two names I have books here I have are The Girls of Riyadh and Wings of Ebony. And for this, I think I'm going to save Wings of Ebony and drop Girls of Riyadh. I definitely enjoyed this more than I did this, so it's kind of not hard to choose. Okay, so the next one we have A River of Royal Blood. This is a recent read and a fave. I got 5 stars from me. And also Pot. This is so simple. I also read this year. I gave this 2 stars. I gave this 5 stars. This was very uneventful, very underwhelming read, and this one I just absolutely loved. So River of Royal Blood, obviously. Okay, this is easy so far. I thought I was going to get like very hard choices. But the next we have is His Only Wife by Peter Zomede and The Half God of Rainfall by Inua Elems. Okay. First of all, His Only Wife. This was a very enjoyable read, very engaging. There's a lot of tea to be spilled and just drama. Inua Elems is I really enjoyed this too. This was just an absolute. This is a fave, honestly. This is like, it was very poetic. Yes, it was very poetic. It was like, this is not written in verses. It's very poetic. It's very short. It's a novella, and it packs a lot. And this is very, very drama. Very, yeah. So I think I'll pick The Half God of Rainfall because I feel like I enjoyed this more. Just thinking about it makes me smile. It's just the way the book was written to the story. It's just a very small book, but it just has a lot. There's just a lot going on, and I really, really like it. But I also really like His Only Wife too. But I think I'll go with The Half God of Rainfall. Okay, now for the next one we have 1 Year of Ugly and Love Boat Taipei. Okay. Let's compare and contrast. So for Love Boat Taipei, I enjoyed it. It's like it's a contemporary YA, and the only downside to this book is that there's a love triangle, and I despise love triangles. For 1 Year of Ugly, this was an intriguing read. It was actually quite fun to read because it's set in the Caribbean, I believe Trinidad. Yes, I believe it's set in Trinidad and Tobago. And based on my enjoyment, I don't know. I think whenever I think of Love Boat Type, I just remember the love triangle and love triangles. I'll go with 1 Year of Ugly because there's no love triangle in this. So yeah, I think I'll go 1 Year of Ugly. But Love Boat Type was also really good, but the love triangle. So 1 Year of Ugly it is. Okay, so the next. Okay. So The next we have Nimona, and this is a graphic novel. I believe I gave that 4 stars. And we have Black freaking Sun. Like, there's no competition. Black Sun. Nimona is nice, but Serapio, that's my guy. That's my heart, my G, like my everything. You can't. I cannot not choose Serapio. So Serapio, Black Sun all the way. I'm sorry, Nimona, but it is Black. Okay, trying to. So we have Dick, and this is by Inden Finley. It's a series. I really enjoy the series. And we have the Hex. Dick. No need to choose. This book, it was okay, it was all right. It just did not give what I was expecting. I was kind of disappointed by it. It's so Dick. I really love this series. This is like one of my, well, I've not read a lot of series this year, but this is like, I highly recommend this series. It's so good, so good. Yeah. Okay, we've gotten 2. So the first I have is The Raven and the Dove. I believe I gave this 3 stars, 3 or 4 stars. I can't really remember. I also really enjoyed this. It's just that I had a love triangle, and it was like a love triangle between 2 brothers and one random chick like this. And I was not happy about that. I really don't like when they put family members against each other, and then there's even a love triangle on top. It's not my favorite thing. Then White is for Witching. Wow. I read this last year. White is for Witching, and I think it's an interesting book. It just wasn't for me. The writing was very difficult for me to get into. The story, everything about it was just, I feel like it went over my head, and I had to work, like I had to put in work in order to read this. It was just too much work. So I can't remember what I gave this, but I did not really enjoy this. Raven and Dove, I enjoyed it for the most part. I did not like the love triangle in it, but if I'm going to put it against White is for Witching, obviously I'm going to pick Raven and Dove, because although the love triangle just kind of killed some of my enjoyment, it was still a really good book, and it's a series I'm definitely going to follow. So we have our next 2. So we have Dial A for Aunties, one of my favorite books this year. And then we have The Forgotten Girl. Oh my god, I read this last month in October. Okay. It's obviously Dial A for Aunties, but The Forgotten Girl is like, it was so good. It was so good. I've not read a lot of middle grades. I don't usually read middle grades, but I enjoyed this. I enjoyed this book, but it's against Dial A for Aunties, and this was just like top tier shit here. And I'm sorry, this is such a good book, but I have to go with Dial A for Aunties. Okay, well, this is actually quite fun. Okay, so our next one is The Fisherman. This was an absolute fave of mine, and Hate Thy Neighbor. Oh my god. So these 2 books, I read these 2 books last year, or I think I read this one, no, maybe not last year, maybe 2019, and I read this last year, Hate Thy Neighbor. I hated Hate Thy Neighbor, and I loved The Fisherman. So it's kind of obvious. This is like one of my favorite books of all time, my most hated books of all time, so it's kind of obvious what I'm going to pick. The Fisherman. So we have, the next we have is Island Affair, and like a love story. So I read Island Affair last year. It's like a romance novel. It's like a fake dating trope type romance book. I read this last year, and I read this year, and I absolutely adored and loved, like a love story. This is like one of my favorite books this year. So, and this was just like a 3-star. It was an okay read, so obviously I'm going to go with like a love story. So we have US, This Too Much, and The Death of Eghe. The choices are very simple. I will not lie. I honestly thought I was going to like pick 2 books I loved together, which I'll just be like, but this is very easy. I despise US This Too Much, and I adore, love, and worship the death of Eghe. So obviously the death of Eghe. Okay, so the next book we have is The Hating Game. Okay, this one is going to be a bit hard. After I said it was not hard, but this is going to be a bit hard because we have The Hating Game and then we have The Gilded Ones. I love this book. I read this recently this year, 5-star, loved it. Read this last year, 5-star, loved it. What am I going to pick? I kind of want to pick The Hating Game, but I'm also thinking of The Gilded One, and it just has so many important messages, and it's just good. So I kind of want to pick The Gilded Ones because I just feel like the overall message and just everything. But I also really like The Hating Game. This is like one of the best romances I read last year. I can't pick, but I'm just going to go with The Gilded Ones. I'm sorry, I still love Hating Game. Well, I'll go with The Gilded Ones. So yay, I picked. Okay, so the final the final one we have in our jar is Grown and Allegedly. How fitting to put Tiffany D. Jackson against herself. So anyway, so we have Grown and we have Allegedly. This is actually not so difficult for me. Grown, it was an okay read. I feel like the book in itself is okay, and the message you're trying to pass across was like a really important message. But the execution and like, because this is supposed to be a thriller or something, it wasn't given there. Allegedly was the first Tiffany D. Jackson book I read. I loved the main character. I was rooting for this girl. I was just everything. The ending, however, wasn't still it, but I was still caught by surprise. So I guess I enjoyed this more. So I'm going to go with Allegedly because I enjoyed it more. Grown was kind of disappointing. So I pick Allegedly. Okay. So anyway, this is the end of this video. If you watched it up to this point with me, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed watching this video as much as I enjoyed making it, and I'll see you next time. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and if you see any of, like, if you disagree with any of my choices, like, oh, maybe I dropped your favorite and picked something else and you disagree, let me know. If you've read any of these books that I used, let me know also. I'll see you next time. Bye.